Okay. Good evening, everybody. This is us. This is part of the PANDOS team, and we are basically doing this while it's still fresh in our mind, and because there's an urgency. There's a very immediate urgency for us standing with Standing Rock right at this moment. I guess we'll give an overview of what kind of happened with us and kind of give our feelings of or what we think about what happened. So we actually got together, all four of us, and left for Standing Rock on Thursday night. We got there Friday afternoon about 3 o'clock. We were there for a couple hours, and then we actually got a call. There was a call. They do these call outs that people need to go and go to the front lines and actually, be that warrior, be that person that needs to defend the water. So we left not knowing what to expect. We went out there to the front lines, and what the front lines is actually there's a road on the highway where the pipeline is meeting that highway. It's already dug up, being prepared to be there, and there's a camp there. And that's the site where there are a lot of prayers and a lot of ceremonies are happening, because that's the whole idea of this camp. That's the whole idea of Standing Rock, is they're trying to defeat this prayerfully and peacefully. And I promise it's peaceful, and I promise it's prayerful. And that is kind of key to this thing, is that these natives, all of us and those people who are there, are doing this in peace. And so if you ever see anything that alludes to the fact that we're being violent, that we're rioting, that we are asking for people to do things, fill our pipes, for things like that, none of that is happening. I promise you. This is something that is being done peacefully. So we got there, we went out there, and we did those ceremonies, and we got to take a look and see what was going on. And one of the first things that kind of hit me was this is like a military zone. It's a military zone / there are police officers. The law enforcement there is all over the place, and very intimidating. Right now, I'm gonna let Jordan talk a little bit about what his experience was like there. We'll start with you, Jordan.
All right, so I'm Jordan. I'm Hopi and Chimawavy. So basically, what went on with Standing Rock, it definitely was a really neat experience. So I encourage any of you guys that if you guys can make it out sometime as soon as possible, fundage wise, or you can find a bunch of people to carpool out, probably be a really great experience for you to go help out this great cause. But there was really one impression that, unity is something that's going to bind all of us together. A bunch of different tribes. Mm-hmm. Didn't matter that you're Native American, didn't matter if you're black, white, red. Yeah. All right, so as far as everything else goes, as far as like I said, doesn't matter white, red, blue, purple, orange, whatever you are, whatever you affiliate with. It's just something that we all need to come in unity and prayer. Do prayer however you interpret prayer as. So whatever you believe in, that will help, besides physically being able to be there. The nice thing is also seeing that, people that used to not really get along so well, be able to come together as one to fight this great cause, prevent all of our kids from, the main thing I would always hear is them as a people, they would always do something, they would always look 7 generations in advance. They don't do it for themselves, they do it for the people that are going to be coming a lot later than their great grandkids, and so on. So that's one thing. It was a nice impression. Everybody was willing to help. Everybody was willing to do what was needed of them. Nobody was scared, basically, to go to jail. They know, they're standing for a cause, and you have to be able to stand for that cause, knowing that, there is possible consequences. So you need to do what you need to be able to do. So that's just kind of one of the main impressions that happened with me at camp.
Thanks. All right, Jen, how about you?
I don't even know where to start. There's so much. So right off the bat, I was definitely struck with how it really felt like a military zone. It felt like a war zone. It felt intimidating. Everywhere we went, there were heavy artillery vehicles. There were sound cannons. There were, it was, planes and helicopters flying overhead relentlessly, even through the night where you couldn't sleep. And I don't know, it was definitely one of the most intense experiences, and the whole time there was this energy of, okay, are they going to raid? Are they going to raid? Any moment, it could be a raid. And so for me, it was intense, it was a little scary, and yet at the same time, it was one of the most incredible and beautiful experiences that I've ever had. I was afforded the opportunity to help out in the healing tent. And I have never in my life experienced anything like that. I do a lot of energy work and a lot of body work. And I found myself sitting in the dirt with clods of grass all around me, with people lying on a blanket in incredible pain. And as I was working with them, I could hear horses 10 feet outside the tent neighing and moving about. And I could hear a man with a drum, and I could hear chanting, and the experience was so incredibly powerful that it was one of the most peaceful and positively energized moments of my life. And I don't know, there was a moment when we were going out Sunday morning, and that Sunday morning had a different energy than the other mornings. I mean, we knew, we didn't know what was going on, but there was definitely an energy that things were different. They were handing out food. There was a lot of kind of preemptive stuff of really getting people geared up and encouraging us to link arms and to make sure that we were staying behind the red line, and we were led by horses. And so even though I didn't know exactly what was happening, you could feel this energy of, we knew we were in danger, we knew it. And there was this young girl, I don't know how old she was, 18 to 25-ish, and our eyes just met, and not a single word was exchanged between us through the whole walk. But I just kind of brought her inside because, you know, the police pull people off from the side, so you have to link arms, and you want to keep women and children in the center, and I don't know, for me it was kind of like the smaller people too, and so I was just trying to keep her there. And you know, we kind of got separated in all of it, and at the end, after I had done the water ceremony and I went down and I saw her, and we literally, these are the only words we ever exchanged, she just goes, "Sister!" And she wrapped me up in her arms, and it was this hug that was just, I don't know, that was really profound for me. There were so many levels of everything that happened, even in the water ceremony, the way that that was handled. As far as there being 5 different genders, and she was explaining how the ceremony in a traditional sense is normally done with the women going first, and then the men, and then those of a different gender that identify as female then go with the females, those that identify with male go with the male, and those that don't have or define themselves with a sexual identity go after the men, but that how we were all going to mix because we are one. And so for this one day, things were going to be done differently. And by the time I got down to do my prayer with the tobacco, and I was praying, and she just very quietly and softly leaned over and put her hand on my shoulder and just said, "Do you identify as female?" And there was no judgment. And I literally felt like no matter what I answered in that moment, it was complete love. There were so many moments through the trip. Honestly, I could probably go on for 2 or 3 hours about the things that really had an impact on me, and I don't even know where to start. There were a lot. It was honestly one of the scariest and most intense moments, like really, and yet one of the most incredibly beautiful I've ever experienced. And I don't know, I really encourage people to go down, to do this, to stand forward for this. This is not just an issue for Native people. This water is incredibly important, and it's huge. This is not some little 10-foot river. This thing is massive. If this goes, it's a worldwide disaster. It really is. So I'll leave it at that, because I'll probably talk all night.
Thanks. You said a lot of things that I would have forgotten, so I appreciate that. You know, that this thing, it was intense, and that's maybe why I really wanted to do this, is because you need to be there if you can, if it's calling you. I mean, it might be calling you right now, and honestly, I think you should be packing right now and being ready to go up there, because like I said, there's an urgency, and we're gonna get to that, because they need you, and you need to be there for your own self. I mean, this is an experience that you will never have. You won't understand what's going on. You're going to see pictures, you're going to see things, but you won't feel it. It won't be there in your heart. There's something different about it, about being there in it. It's like watching a concert on TV. It's not the same thing. You have to be there.
Yeah.
You have to feel that, and the unity is there is amazing. Again, this is an intense thing. So if you're going there, I mean, be willing to wake up early in the morning. We always woke up before the sun came up. Always are waking up. I think we woke up at 5, 4 o'clock, waking up, doing those ceremonies, doing those prayers, uniting in unity, going in that prayerful way, which I think was important to this thing, not getting out of hand. So you get up and you go and you do these things, and you go out there and you get to that front line. You go out there and you meet the riot police. You meet those people, and so you need to be willing. If you're gonna go, just be willing to be arrested. That's just what needs to happen. Be willing to be arrested. Be willing to work. If they need you to work, then work. If they need you to do these things, then do these things. And that's something that's important. Is that we let them take the lead. This was not we didn't take the lead. This is their land, and we let them take the lead. So something that kind of impressed upon me was that the amazing unity that was there, and the willingness to stand and fight and defend them, not fight in an offensive way, but fight in a defensive way. These people were laying down on the road using themselves as a barricade if somebody came. And I think about, those days when Chief Joseph, and he's getting chased by the cavalry, and people are being chased by the cavalry, and when they would just come in and they'd massacre people, and people were kind of running in that sense. And then I think to that day, when Custer came in, and you had all of the Sioux people, all of those bands there together, all of those Cheyenne people, that group was there. And then they were there in unity, and what happened from that unity was a defeat, and they defeated that cavalry. And I see that this can happen at Standing Rock. But as Butch is probably going to attest to, this has to be done in prayer. Mm-hmm. This has to be done in this way. We can't be violent, and we don't want to be violent, because the minute that we're violent, that's the minute that they get the excuse for the military to come in, use the military in that offensive way, and just wipe everybody out or arrest everybody or do those things. Yeah. So that's kind of coming to the point right now, is when we were there, the last day that we're there, a good announcement was made. First, there was a march that was led from the big camp down to the sacred ground camp that was right there on the front line. And we marched there. We marched there behind a woman, and we marched there behind horses. So we went there, and there was good songs, good prayers, good, and you know that they're good prayers and they're good songs because the eagles were flying above us. We looked up, and there were eagles flying up there. There was at least 2 eagles and a hawk, and they were flying up there, kind of giving their approval, that they're going to do their part in this thing. We did that. And then we went, and then an announcement was made that they're going to be making all of these camps, all of those little separated camps, and they're going to be one unified camp on that spot where the pipeline is going to go. Yeah. They're going to plant themselves on top of that last little bit, that last stronghold, if you will, of land. So they're going to have to go through them. So by doing that, they started building their camp there, and the people made barricades in case the other people came in from the outside, or the law enforcement came into the outside. And here's what's happening, is that the people are claiming eminent domain on that spot, on that easement. That was never, they never seceded that anyways. They never actually gave that land up. That was always there. It was just taken. And the United States government has used this clause of eminent domain to take things. They take things, whatever they want. And in this case, they're not taking it for the public good, which eminent domain should be used for. But they're doing this for a private organization, so that a private system can make money. So the Native Americans are doing this, and they're claiming this. they're taking their rightful stance as being a sovereign nation to claim eminent domain. And if anybody has a right to lay claim to eminent domain, it is Native Americans. So in that happening, Butch, you ready?
Yeah.
So I want Butch to kind of say, because Butch was back at the camp and he had access to the security
Radio.
to radio. So just let him know what happened, Butch.
Yeah, last night or yesterday, I had access to a security radio, so I knew what went on in camp and I knew what went on the front of the line. And that I sent my boys up front to the front of the line. These guys were always there. They were always up in the morning, and they went to the front line. And then I sent my boys back up there, and I told them, I'm going to stay here. I said, I'm going to watch this camp. I said, because we got 2 X's, and I said, they can come rush this place. We got women and children here. We got grandmas here. I said, somebody's got to watch them. I got my daughter there, and my 3 grandbabies there, too. So I told them I was going to sit there and watch them. And just about that time, they jumped in the truck and left. 2 vets walked by, and they said, Butch, we're going to stay back here. And I said, I know what's going on. I know, and I thought that was cool, because they were there the same purpose I was, to watch the elders, to watch the people back here, in case they decide to come in. So it all worked out good. But I just got done reading now that they got cops coming from Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. And they're gathering, and they're gonna come sometime, and that's the scary part, because our people are there on that land, and I also heard that is treaty land too, but it's domain land too, like they were saying. So this is the scary part, If you guys have a voice, it's time to pray for them. They need our help. It's I don't know what's gonna go on. Well, it was crazy. Sunday they had 40 cops that rolled out from Mobridge, about 40 miles away or something like that. They all gathered on the other side. We set up our security, set up our own roadblock there, just in case. But the funny things happen, they turned around and went back. I've been in places growing up in my life where the cops did come, and they did rush us, and they didn't there. Now I look at it too, is they went back and called more cops, reinforcements, and that. So we'll see what happens when the next day or two. I don't know. We just got to pray for them. We just got to pray for them and help them, and that's what we need. We need our prayers. They've already disturbed some grave like that. To me, it's like they woke up our grandfathers, our relatives that were buried there. We pray to them too. Ask them to help us. Ask them to show us. Ask them to guide us. They're there, just like these guys right here, brothers and sisters. They're right here. They're right here too, even though we can't see them. But we got to talk to them. We got to ask them to help us, and they will. I've noticed when I get up in the morning time, I can see them. I can feel them when they come around, and they're there, and they're there to help us too. But we got to ask them. We got to pray about these things. So I don't know what's going to go on with the next day or two. That's the scary part, because they also said they had a busload of federal marshals or federal people that come in too. I don't know what they're going to do there. So all I'm saying is, my people out there, pray for them. They need our help. Tonight in the morning time, something's gonna go down, and it's scary. I'm worried about my people, worried about my kids, I'm worried about all the old ones, and so that's what I got to say now. Just keep praying for our people. Let's help them that way. That's what's gonna bring, hopefully, everything together in all my relations.
So, I don't know, this was supposed to be a question and answers. I don't know if anybody's asked any questions yet about this. I don't even know if anybody's even watching this. But if you have questions, then go ahead and just write those questions on those comments, and we'd love to answer questions. Butch is actually a really great resource, because Butch's family has been there. His sons, his nephew, his daughter have been there like from day one. And this is an awesome thing. His daughter, she's 21?
Yeah.
She's 21 years old. She has 3 children. These little boys maybe like 5, 3 years old, and she has a 6-month-old baby. And he's been out there for 3 months. This baby has been out there, and these kids are troopers, and they're going to be blessed by being there. I mean, this is a good experience, and this is a good experience for her. But they're there. This is his family that's there, and he has relations there, and he has connections there. So he's a very good resource on what is what is going on there. So ask those questions. Again, I just want to tell you, or remind you, or make you aware, or just make you aware that you need to be there. And the day that we left, I promise you, we felt so bad that we had to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, and then the next morning when we were driving home, I just felt, no, this is not good. You know, we need to be there. There's something, we have to be there. And like Butch says, something's going to happen. And we're pretty positive something's going to happen this week. Yeah. Something big is going to happen. And you just need to leave. Like right now, if you can, just leave and go there and stand with those people. They need your help, and you will be blessed. I promise you that you will be blessed by being there. It is a wonderful experience, and you can do what you were meant to do. Every single one of you was meant to be unified with other people. Every single one of you is connected with those people. You might not be Native American, but you're connected to those people. You are a human being, and as human beings, we have a responsibility to other human beings to defend them. And that's something that upsets me a lot, is that we have these police officers who, I understand that they're doing their job, but they're doing an immoral, this purpose right now, it's immoral. It is not right. They could take their vacation, they could request transfer, I don't know what they can do, but they don't have to be there. They can even quit. They can quit. This is not the right thing to do. I mean, this is a hard situation for them, I understand, but they're on the wrong side. They shouldn't be defending a private corporation that is going to damage, or has done damage, and will continue to do damage to the earth. The fight that's happening there at Standing Rock is a fight for their children. It's a fight for their families. It's a fight for them.
So we have a question.
Great.
How can we help if we can't physically go to Standing Rock?
Go ahead.
You can pray. That's what you can do. You can pray. You know, prayer is a powerful thing, and that's how we can help them. You know, just take time to pray. Not maybe once or twice, but you know, throughout the night and throughout tomorrow. You know, that they remain strong. And these cops, you know, I don't know, they have a change of heart or something, because they're coming. You know, they're coming. So just keep praying for them. That's the biggest thing we can do for them while we're here.
Let me just add to that prayer, and then I'm going to let you, because that prayer, this is one of those things. If you remember what I said on Sunday, we were there, and that ceremony went good, and we were all united as a one people at that time, all united, and those eagles were flying around up there. Yeah. But it was that day, it was that night that 50 units, those 50 law enforcement units were on their way out, and they turned around. And I think Butch, everyone would admit that something was out there. Yeah. There was a higher power that made those people turn around. So this can happen. This prayer is such an important thing, and this is coming from Butch, who is AIM or was AIM, who understands what that's like. But this is about peace. Mm-hmm. This has to be done in that peaceful way. He's seen the way. He's seen the violent way, or the violent, you know what I mean? The
shooting way, the Billy Club way, and that.
But this has to be done in peace, and this is coming from Butch. So, what else?
Well, yeah, no, I completely agree. 100%. Prayer is incredibly powerful, and without a doubt, that was reinforced over and over and over again this trip. But I would also encourage you. Honestly, simple things, finding your voice, post about this, stay up with what's going on, donate to the legal fund, participate in any sort of rallies or information gatherings regarding this, donate food, clothing, tents, warm gear like blankets and shoes. Really, there are so many ways, but honestly for me, I think the biggest thing people can do, the thing that frustrates me sometimes, is that I feel people are not talking about it. They're not recognizing it. They're not acknowledging it. They're not participating in it. And I would like to see people find their voice. Just find their voice. Talk about it, you know. Post about it. Stay current with what's going on. be familiar with this situation. This is happening in our nation, and it honestly, at certain points, felt like I was visiting a third world country, no joke. And it's right here in the United States, and it felt like we were on the verge of war with our own police department in our country. I don't understand how this can be going down and people can just turn their heads or shove them in the sand. And I get that it's an overwhelming situation, and I really think that that's part of it. People get a little overwhelmed and they don't understand what to do or how to do it. But honestly, just finding your voice is a great starting point.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that question, because by you just asking that question is good.
Yeah.
Jordan, do you have any suggestions?
I'm just gonna reiterate what I started off with, is the whole prayer factor. Prayer is really powerful. Like I said, do it any way that you do it. If you do it ritualistically, if you do it with certain incense, stones, whatever. I mean, all that stuff is welcome. And in reality, it all goes to our Creator. He hears and answers us. He's able to basically protect us from what's going on. One thing is that we can't impose on is what other people are able to do to us. So that's the main issue. So I just want everybody to remember, prayer is really strong. Always keep it throughout the day. It's not just like, okay, yeah, I hope that these guys are going to be fine today. You got to remember that these guys are technically your brothers, your sisters, your cousins.
Yeah.
Everybody's related. We're all fighting for the same purpose. We're all here on Earth to basically protect it. In reality, right now, we're destroying our Mother Earth. She's blatantly crying out right now with everything else that's going on. DAPL, the place, the company that actually owns them right now, actually had a leak earlier this week, and everything else that's going on. So I don't get why they're still able to still go with this, let alone why everything's so militarized, and everything else like that. So on top of the whole legal fund issue, I definitely would suggest the legal fund, if you're able to physically donate money that you have. If not, definitely anything winterized. If you have any winter gear, if you're able to get that out there. The winters there are going to be harsh. They're going to easily be 30 below zero. I mean, just the wind chill alone when we were there, it said the temperature was like 50 degrees outside, but it felt honestly like 15 degrees, sometimes 10 degrees, just basically off the wind chill. I mean, there's really like no protection from the elements right where they're at, to be able to be on the front line.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing is, hopefully we can get you guys linked up with some of those as well, that we can either give to you. Hopefully one of us can find that out, and then we'll be able to post the links in there if we physically don't have them on us right now.
Just some bitch.
No.
Oh, was there any other questions? Not now? Okay. So standingrock.org would probably be something good to go to. Standingrock.org would be good. I mean, they have a Dakota Access Pipeline Donation Fund, and I think they have something for the legal funds, and I think that's something that's also is neat about this, is that there's people actually willing to that they have a legal team that's put into place to help people to get out of jail if they go to jail, and I think that's a really good thing, and that's something that we need to donate to, that legal defense fund.
Carl, we also got another question.
Yeah.
If you want to go help out in Standing Rock, can you just drive up there on your own and show up to help, or do you need to go with a group or contact anyone in particular before you go?
They go by themselves.
Yeah. So one thing that I heard was kind of important thing is that if you do go up, I think it would be better to go up as more people, so you can utilize those funds that you're using to get up there. So it's better, because I mean, if you gotta go, then go. But if you're just gonna go by yourself, perhaps all that money that you would have spent to get there would be better served if you donated, and so that they could buy the things that they need. I know that people are needed. I know that. But sometimes money helps too. Again, these guys are going to be out there, and this thing might come to a stand, and there might be a standoff. I see two things happening here. Mm-hmm. Is that there's such a large force that's going to come, and is either they will catch them really by surprise in the middle of the night or something like that, and they will just arrest everybody, and they will just take everybody out, or they will come during the daytime, and at that time, they're going to be ready. The Standing Rock people will be ready, and they will roadblock it, and there's going to be a standoff. There's going to be a standoff. And our prayers are that this doesn't end like Waco. This could be a bad thing. But again, if these natives do these things in a prayerful way, and if they stick by what they started with, what the elders are wanting them to do, which is a hard thing to do when people are slapping you in the face and they're spraying mace in your face, and they're doing this to your mother, and they're doing this to your grandmothers, and they're doing this to your children. It's a hard thing to hold back. But these guys need to stay strong, and if things happen, I pray that all of it happens to those people, and that they don't retaliate in a violent way. So 2 things: either they all get arrested, or there's a standoff. And if there's a standoff, they need to be supplied, and they need to have the supplies ready to stay there during winter.
Yeah.
So we also had a person named Jennifer, which is awesome. So she asked, is it true that they combine both camps together? We have a group of us going tomorrow for 4 cars worth, and campers and trailers, and 200 tents with wood stoves. Any advance on what to look out for on arrival?
So yeah, they are combining camps, or they're attempting to, and we're really hoping that they are successful with that, because right now there are quite a few camps. There's Rosebud, Osheri Sepawa, Red Warrior, Sacred Stone, Sacred Ground. There's a couple of them. So if they united, I think it would be a lot better, because they get everybody up in the morning for the warrior call, the water protector call, and a lot of the times I don't know, I just think if they were all acting as one, it would be a lot better for sure. So that's a really good move. But yes, they are definitely doing that. What was the other part of that question?
So I think they need to be ready.
Look out for what they should look for.
Yeah, so one thing is that you kind of have to be proactive when you do this. You have to be willing to search and find answers, and because you just need to be willing to do that. Don't expect that you're going to go there and somebody's going to direct you and say, yeah, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing this. But just find your place, do what you need to do, just follow in line with what's going on. And honestly, I don't know what's going to happen at this point. Have you talked to any of your kids today?
Yeah.
Okay. Because this one camp thing is critical. And it not only is it critical that they become one, really one, it's because they're going to be on that land. This is the last stand, guys.
Yeah.
They're 3 miles away from the road. And on the other side of the road, they've got a mile left, 3/4 of a mile, until they get to the river. This river is huge. So if these people can stay there and occupy that land, and if this eminent domain is granted, which it should be, they have every reason, every legal right by precedence to be there. Anyways.
There's right where they are behind them, there's a grave site there, and that's what they want to go through. Then they're going to go underneath the river. That's why our people are standing there, because they don't want to mess with that grave site. They've already did that once, and that they nicked part of it. But right where we are, there's a grave site there, and they want to go under, and we're going to let it happen. We'll do everything we can to stop that. But like we keep saying, the biggest thing we can do is pray for them. Pray for them. Biggest thing.
And I would also like to add, if you are really wanting to go down there and you are searching for a group to lessen the cost and increase the effectiveness of it, check out other groups. There's Utah Support Standing Rock, there's PANDOS. I'm sure if you were to post around and say, look, I am really interested in going down, these are the dates I'm going down, anybody else interested in joining me, you might be surprised. I honestly only knew Carl before this journey, and I find myself jumping into a car and just heading down
I'm
there.
ready to go again too.
Yeah, Butch is always back to go
I'm
down.
ready to go.
Yes.
But to answer the second part of your question though, very first thing first, when you get there, you're gonna probably come across roadblocks just from the police themselves. Yeah. Besides our own roadblocks, so definitely when you get to our roadblocks, let them know that you're there to support hardcore. And then also one of the very first 2 things that you should honestly do. The very first thing is you probably should go visit the legal tent right when you get there.
Yeah.
Go fill out that paperwork. They have it set up where for some reason if you do get arrested, because honestly the way that these cops are going at it, it most likely is going to happen. You could just be sitting at camp. You probably wouldn't even be doing something proactive, and they could come and arrest you just for whatever they want.
Yeah.
So I definitely suggest going to the legal tent. They'll have you fill out some paperwork, like any dietary needs if you need, or if you want to or wait until your arraignment, or if you want to get bailed out, they'll be able to help you out with that situation, emergency contacts. The second thing on there as well is once you get to camp, ask them where they need to go for frontline training, because that's something that's really important. We don't need people that go out there that are not basically trained to be on the front lines. I mean, it's all great intentions, but we don't need anything irrational to happen because someone does not have that training behind them.
Yeah.
It's confrontational for sure. Yeah, you want the training.
Anything else?
No.
Any other questions? Okay. All right. So basically, I guess there's no more questions. So we really appreciate you watching this and watching this in the future. And like I said, just do something. I promise you won't regret it. I mean, this thing, I mean, us 4 people, you know, coming together and going at this, like the best thing that's, like, it's an awesome experience. So with that, I just want to let you know of something that we're doing with PANDOS is supporting, and I'm going to turn it over to Dave John, who's going to tell us a little bit about that, because this is also important. And this is stuff that's happening in our neck of the woods.
Well, good evening, everybody. One of the events we're kind of going to be supporting is the Utah League of Native American Voters. It is going to be hosted by Baroni Benally. He's done a few talks over at the demonstrations we did from the Capitol to the library, and so he's been putting a lot of work into this to get Native representatives from each tribe, the Navajos, the Utes, the Paiutes, the Goshutes, and the Shoshones to have a representative at this meeting. And he's also invited a bunch of candidates, which is good that we did get some confirmations that some are going to attend. So hopefully it'll be a good event. So what this will cover is Native American issues, like maybe the land, education, health. So hopefully, and also we want to see where these candidates stand in support of the Native community, and see what they are willing to do, you know, to go far and beyond, because we don't really have no representatives, you know, representing the Native crowd. But so hopefully this is going on August 26th between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. at the Urban Indian Center. And the address for the Urban Indian Center, just in case if you don't know, it's 120 West, 1300 South, Salt Lake City, Utah. And so if you have questions that you might want to ask a representative, here's your time to voice your opinion and see, you know, how they're going to support the Native community. I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, thanks, John. Dave? All right, so yeah, I guess that's going to be it. Thanks, Heather, for coming, and Doris for running the camera. And thank you, all of you, for supporting in whatever way you were. I really appreciate everything that you do and everything that you're going to do. Is it running? Oh. All right. But again, yeah, just take some time right now. Just pray. Just ask God, ask the Creator, you know, what should you do? What can you do to help this thing out? And prayers are more powerful than the other things, but we still need those other things. We still need you to be there. We still need you to donate. There are people there, and they're your people. Mm-hmm. They're your people. All right, so I love you guys. God bless. Bye.